That bottle of Kia genuine motor oil your dealer just charged you $80 to $120 for, Kia didn't make it, not 1 milliliter. So who actually makes Kia motor oil? We traced the plant codes, pulled the safety data sheets, and followed the supply chain across 2 continents. What we found comes down to a French energy giant and a Shell subsidiary sitting on a Walmart shelf. Here's the full breakdown. Welcome to Who Creates What. The information in this video is based on our independent research of public documents like safety data sheets and API registries. Manufacturer partnerships can change, and we are not sponsored by or affiliated with any brands mentioned. Always check your product labels. No automaker on Earth manufactures its own motor oil. Not Toyota, not BMW, not Mercedes-Benz, not Ford, and not Kia. Every single one of them outsources lubricant production to specialized petroleum companies, then slaps their own logo on the bottle and sells it through the dealer at a markup. This is called white label manufacturing, and it is the standard operating model across the entire automotive industry. Here's how it works at Kia specifically. When Kia's powertrain engineers finalize a new engine, like the SmartStream 2.5-liter 4-cylinder or the turbocharged TGD, they don't just define bore diameter and compression ratio. They also define the exact lubricant that engine needs to survive. That definition is called an OEM lubricant specification, and it covers 3 things. The viscosity grade, which for most current Kia models is 5W30 full synthetic. The performance certification, which for post-2021 Kia engines requires API SP and ILSAC GF6 rated oil. And the additive package, meaning anti-wear agents like zinc, dialkyl dithiophosphate, detergents to prevent carbon buildup, dispersants, and oxidation inhibitors, each one calibrated to the specific metallurgy inside that engine block. Once that specification is locked, Kia goes shopping. They find a lubricant manufacturer that already owns petroleum refineries, additive chemistry labs, and ISO-certified blending plants. That manufacturer formulates the oil. Kia approves it. Kia puts their label on it. The dealer charges you for it. The oil didn't change. Only the sticker did. And now you need to know exactly which companies are on the other side of that sticker, because this is where it gets interesting. Kia's official global lubricant partner since 2011 is a company called TotalEnergies. If you live in Europe, you've driven past their fuel stations hundreds of times. If you're in the United States, the name might not register, but their products are running through engines all around you right now. TotalEnergies is a French multinational and the 4th largest oil and gas company on the planet by revenue, operating in more than 130 countries with annual turnover exceeding $200 billion. They produce aviation fuel, industrial lubricants, petrochemicals, and most relevant to your Kia, precision-engineered motor oil. The formal partnership was signed in 2011, then renewed in March 2016 for an additional 5-year term. Under this agreement, TotalEnergies supplies Kia-branded lubricants across 180 countries through a network of over 5,500 authorized Kia dealerships worldwide. Now here's the specific product name your dealer isn't telling you. The oil inside that Kia genuine bottle is TotalEnergies Quartz INEO HKS. Those 3 letters, HKS, stand for Hyundai Kia specification. This is not a generic synthetic pulled off a production line and repackaged. It was co-developed between TotalEnergies formulation engineers and Kia's powertrain division. The NOAC volatility rating, which measures how much oil evaporates under extreme heat, was tuned specifically for Kia engine operating temperatures. The high-temperature, high-shear viscosity profile was matched to the bearing clearances in Kia's current engine lineup. Even the phosphorus content was calibrated to protect Kia's specific catalytic converter chemistry. And this partnership isn't something buried in obscure trade filings. Stephen Yoon, VP of Kia Motors Corporation's Overseas Service Division, publicly stated during the 2016 renewal, and this is a direct quote. For the past 5 years, Total has demonstrated that it has the worldwide coverage, strong marketing capabilities, and high-quality lubricant technology to meet the needs of our networks. So, across Europe, Asia-Pacific, the Middle East, and Latin America, when a Kia dealer hands you a bottle labeled Kia Genuine Motor Oil, you are holding TotalEnergies Quartz INEO HKS with a different sticker. That's the global picture. But there's a split in this supply chain, and it happens right at the US border. In the United States, the supply chain runs through a completely different company. The Hyundai Motor Group, which is Kia's parent company, formed a separate aftermarket lubricant partnership with Quaker State beginning in 2005, and that agreement governs what goes into American Kia engines at US dealerships. Quaker State. You've seen it at Walmart, you've seen it at AutoZone and O'Reilly. It looks like a budget shelf brand. But since 1998, Quaker State has been a wholly owned subsidiary of Shell, one of the 3 largest energy corporations on Earth. Right now, at US Kia dealerships, when a technician drains your oil and fills it back up, the product going into your engine is Quaker State Full Synthetic, formulated to meet Kia's API and ILSAC specifications. The invoice you sign says Kia Genuine Motor Oil. So, does it actually matter? Is there a real difference between the TotalEnergies product used globally and the Quaker State product used in America? At the specification level, no. Both TotalEnergies Quartz, INEO HKS, and Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic meet or exceed API SP certification and ILSAC GF6 as standards. Both satisfy the viscosity and additive requirements documented in Kia's service manual. The label is different, the company behind it is different. The engineering outcome, meeting Kia's published specification, is the same. And there's a verification method that works for any OEM-branded oil on any vehicle. Every commercially sold lubricant is legally required to publish a safety data sheet. That document must name the actual manufacturing company by law. You can trace any genuine branded oil back to its real origin using that single document in under 3 minutes. It's public, it's free, and it tells you what the dealer label won't. Now, everything up to this point has been about who makes the oil. But there's a harder question buried in this supply chain. What happens when the specification itself becomes the problem? In 2017, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened a formal investigation into catastrophic engine failures across Kia and Hyundai vehicles. The engines in question were the Theta 2-litre and 2.4-litre GDI installed in the Kia Optima, Sorento, Sportage, and their Hyundai counterparts, including the Sonata and Santa Fe. Model years 2011 through 2016. The failure mode was specific and severe. During manufacturing, metal debris from the machining process remained lodged inside engine oil passages. Under normal driving, that debris restricted oil flow. Bearings lost lubrication. Metal scraped against metal. Engines seized. And in documented cases, this happened at highway speed with zero warning. The recall scope reached approximately 1.6 million vehicles in the United States alone. Now, here's where this story connects directly back to the oil. A secondary finding from independent engineering analysis identified a contributing factor beyond the manufacturing contamination. Kia's factory oil specification for many of these engines was 0W20, an ultra-thin viscosity grade selected to maximize fuel economy numbers. Under clean operating conditions, 0W20 performs exactly as designed. But under conditions where contamination had already restricted oil passages and flow was compromised, that thinner viscosity created a thinner hydrodynamic film between metal surfaces. Less protection at the exact moment the engine needed more. Independent lubrication analysts who studied these failure patterns concluded that the OEM viscosity specification amplified the severity of failures once the initial contamination existed. A thicker oil would have provided a wider mechanical safety margin under those degraded conditions. To be clear, this is not a failure of TotalEnergies or Quaker State. Both companies manufactured oil precisely to the specification Kia handed them. The oil met spec. The spec itself was the engineering decision that reduced the margin for error, and Kia's response confirms exactly that. For vehicles manufactured after April 2021, Kia officially mandated full synthetic oil only, eliminating conventional and synthetic blend approvals across their entire current lineup. The viscosity guidance was revised upward for several models, moving away from the ultra-thin grades that had been prioritized for fuel economy. The lesson here is clear: knowing who fills the bottle matters. But the specification printed in your owner's manual is the engineering decision that determines whether your engine lasts a decade or fails at 60,000 miles. That specification is Kia's responsibility. And in the case of the Theta II, that responsibility had real consequences for real drivers. With the supply chain fully mapped, here is what you actually do with this information. Open your owner's manual and find the exact viscosity grade and API certification your specific engine requires. Don't rely on what the service advisor tells you verbally. The manual is the engineering document. For most 2023 and newer Kia models, you're looking for 5W30, API SP, ILSEC, GF6. If your Kia was built after April 2021, conventional oil and synthetic blends do not satisfy the warranty requirement. Full synthetic only, no exceptions. And here are the products that meet that specification. TotalEnergies Quartz INEO HKS, the literal product behind the Kia Genuine label across most global markets since 2011. Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic, the product filling your engine at US Kia dealerships right now through the Shell partnership. Mobile One Full Synthetic API SP and ILSEC GF6 certified and widely used across independent service centers. And Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, manufactured by Shell, same parent company as Quaker State, with equivalent specification compliance. One more thing. Under the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, a US federal statute, a dealership cannot void your powertrain warranty solely because you used a non-dealer branded oil. The only requirement is that the oil meets the manufacturer's documented specification. The specification is what protects your engine. The label is what protects the dealer's margin. Kia doesn't manufacture its own oil. And neither does Hyundai. Even though Hyundai and Kia share the same parent company, the same engine platforms, and in many cases the same factories. But Hyundai's oil supply chain has its own story, one that traces back to a partnership most Hyundai owners have never heard of. That full breakdown is right here. If you drive a Hyundai, or if you just want to see how deep this OEM oil model really goes, that video is queued up for you now.